Hey, it's Posey, and today we're playing Summoner's War. I wanted to make a video today talking about progression. That's the name of the game, right? What can we do now to make sure that this game is progressing faster? And you're playing catch up to all the people that are greatly outperforming you. Today's video is going to be talking about what teams you need to focus on and in what order. While we're talking about this, I'm going to just showcase what I'm currently using for my teams, and I'm not saying that these are the teams that you should build. Some of these I'll have some Nat 5s that I'm sure you guys won't have, or you may have even better Nat 5s. That's not the point of this. But first, the first thing you've heard, if you're a beginner, then maybe this is news. If you've been around a while, this is almost common sense. But no matter where you are in the game, it is important to have a solid Giants 10 team. And that's the team that I would say should be your first focus in this game, is getting a team that is well-rounded enough to get this on farm. And what I mean by that is that you're not wiping or dying when you're running this over and over again. So currently, this has been my most fast team right now. We're gonna run this. Cool thing about Giants, and something that's important for a lot of new early game, mid game level players to know, is that when you're running Giants, when you're playing this game, the runes that drop in Giants, if you have great runes that drop in Giants, you can be anything in the game that you want. It's not until you get into these things like violent runes where you get pretty much more or less addicted to the procs of going over again. But that's not the point of this. The point of a good Giants team is to get the runes that are going to be good enough to build a solid whatever you're trying to do. Okay, so of course you know Giants drop's going to be the basic runes of the game. Nothing extremely fancy about their set bonuses. Swift, of course, is going to be something that you can use on almost any monster. Swift makes your monsters faster, so of course that's going to be something that you want to do. Now you notice the thing with this team is that it's very survivable. That's the point, is that I just don't want to die. I got enough damage on here that should get it done. I have several. I have 1, 2, 3, 4, let's see, 3 defense breakers and a lot of nukers. So this should be good to do it. And then people are like, why are you using fire? You'll see. Since it's passive, it can only do 30% of its health every time it gets hit. That means that this thing can last 3 turns, and if it's lasting 3 turns, then I'm pretty much gonna win. I want to hear in y'all's comments below, what teams do y'all use right now? What are your favorite Giants teams? We're gonna go into the different teams here in a second, but the point of Giants, like I said, if you're just starting out, get the monsters that you're gonna use in Giants 10 and 6-star those first. People ask me, who should I 6-star next? 6-star the monsters that are going to be in your Giants team. We're going to see if I can beat this one here. Of course, when I'm recording, it's not going to work. It might still work. I love how I get super quiet, but you see how this is built. My Leica's built vampires, so I got a lot of faith. It can usually take 4 or 5 hits. So, nothing to, ride home about, but at the same time, this is a very survivable team that I very rarely will get a loss on this one. Not saying you should build your team like this, but I am saying that it's good to focus on this first when you're first starting the game. The next team that you should be focused on is going to be your Dragons team. Dragons is going to be really important once you start getting into some of the PvP aspects of the game, especially considering what a violent rune will do. Gives you a chance of going again, getting another turn. I don't have to speak on that too much because I'm sure that those of you who are watching this can already see why it would be awesome to let your monster go one more time, right? So with that being said, I'm going to go ahead and show you my team that I run. Pretty staple team for the most part. Yours may differ. Again, don't forget to like, comment, and subscribe. I'm just starting out. This is the beginning of week number 2, and I'm really curious to hear what y'all's current teams are. Okay, so this is my Dragons team. You see Vertaheel lead. Obviously, that's going to be in 90% of people's runs that have him. Chilling is an amazing Dragons monster. With the speed buff and the crit rate buff, it's making everybody hit harder, go faster. Bella is going to be obviously a staple monster that you'll see in most teams as well. Vero and Theomars here are going to be my damage dealers as well as my cleanse here. Vero is literally here for the dots and the cleanse. His second skill won't really matter that much. But here's the tricky part of Dragons is if you can get past this mini boss, then you may be good. If no one dies there, then you're pretty much golden. But I want to preface this that I think a lot of early game players do is that they rush and try to get a Dragons team before they can even beat Giants. And all I'm saying is don't waste your time on getting crappy violent runes when you could be getting way better quality stats in your Giants runs runes. Get those first, and then as you're starting to get your monsters to the level that you want them to get, like as far as speed, speed, HP, and attack, however you're going to build that certain monster, then look into, okay, now can I convert this to violent runes? And the question is, are those violent runes fast enough to be worth considering switching it from, say, a swift set to a violent set? We're gonna make more videos in the future on farming teams for Giants and Dragons, like teams that anybody can make and be successful doing this. This is just my current favorite team that I like running, and yeah, it tends to be the fastest. Like I could use Sigmaris here, but I think the Theomars actually synergizes better with the speed lead and just everything that's going on here. Wanted to show you something here. I'm playing on my friend, my buddy here's his tablet, so I haven't set this yet. But what you want to do is you want to go to attack order and you want to hit boss. You don't need to hit these crystals at all. So that being said, let's go back into this. If this team doesn't win this run, that'll be why, but I'll run it again and show it. It shouldn't really have a problem. The deal with this dragon is that once it gets below 30%, I believe. Yeah, after it gets below 30%, it hits a lot harder. So I want to make sure I got a D-break on this guy, and I can just nuke him down with hopefully a couple of rounds of dots. For people who are mid-game, you might already know this. You'll be spending a lot of time here. This is going to be a part of the game that you're going to be very used to looking at. You're going to be used to looking at this dragon and cursing his name, and we'll make another video here soon that goes into how to make a more successful Dragons team, because I have a lot of friends who talk about just getting wiped on it. So again, nothing crazy. A 3-minute time isn't insanely fast, but again, you notice all my monsters are alive this time. I'm just much more consistent. Consistency is key. Consistency is key. Oh, did you learn anything in HeyItsPosey's video today? No, I didn't. Consistency is key. You don't walk away with anything. Know that consistency is key. So people are very focused on getting very fast runs. Don't be. It doesn't matter. If your team is surviving every run, then who cares if you get a under 2-minute Giants run? Who cares because the fact is that you're probably only getting that one out of every 10 runs, as opposed to my 2-3 minute run that doesn't die. So remember that. That speed's important once you've already created a team that works. So here is where I would say that some people have different opinions, and that's fine. If y'all have a different opinion, definitely let me know in the comments, because I love to hear people talk about this, because this game's all about time management. How can you do this the fastest? How can you catch up the fastest? So here's where I say once you got a Giants team and a Dragons team, that's when you should start focusing on your TOA runs. And make sure you go check out my TOA starter pack video for anyone who is looking to say, okay, I'm ready to do TOA. How do I make a team? Go check that video out. I'll be making some additions as time goes on to the monster list. But that's just a really easy group of monsters that can make it happen. So from there, we're going from Giants to Dragons to TOA. to within what I would say Necro would be the next step. Now this is much more tricky for a lot of people, and what I'll say here, when you see this team, people are probably thinking like, what the heck is this? I have an attack-based team and I have a defense-based team, and my defense-based team survives much more often. So I'm going with what works. Consistency is the key, right? Did y'all remember that from earlier? Okay, anyways. So yeah, I got Fire Panda, Wind Panda, Emma, Driller, and Chilling. We're gonna see how this plays. We'll call this my defense comp for Necro 10. And again, I just want to reiterate that this video isn't designed to say, hey, build a team like I built it. Again, we're still in the beginning processes of y'all getting to know me and knowing my channel and seeing what I do. So this is literally just an introduction to video as to what I'm currently running on my teams. God, I love those revenge hits. Ah. Ooh. Weird noises. So you know with Chilling's passive, every time he has another beneficial effect on him, it makes him faster. So as you'll see here, these monsters end up with a ton of beneficial effects on them. Right now I got 4, and that's not even everything that I can get put on. 5, 6, 7, 8. He can end up with seven beneficial effects on him, and he's just going so much faster. Chilling is also doing something else that's really great, and that's that he's giving that speed buff, but also the crit rate buff. You may not know, but all attack-based monsters and defense-based monsters can still crit hit based on their skills. So, say Driller, for instance, whose all his skills are based on defense, his crit rate and crit damage can be greatly affected by how much defense he has too. So as you can see, he's just got all the right buffs, and that's the other thing to talk about as we're looking at teams here. I won't get too much into it or harp on it, but how well does your team synergize? All right, it's not the fastest team in the world, and I might skip a couple sections here, but you'll at least see at the very end how long this took me. Same thing happened to me on this one than the last one. I have not set attack order yet. That's the correct order. For those of you who are trying to get together a team that wants to be on farm, make sure you're hitting the Imprisoned Soul first and then the boss. That's giving your character, giving him back to your team the quickest, and I think you'll see that this is gonna work fine. Alrighty then, we're done. And that is an embarrassingly long time, but this team doesn't die. I've gotten that same team finishing at the 256. All right, we're gonna keep it. It's got speed on it, and that's what I'm looking for. I'm totally starting over again because I want to get a way faster time and just flash that up at the end just to show you that, yes, I don't have a 6-minute Necro team. Halfway there. Sheesh, look at all those buffs. Ugh. We here, final round, fight. All right, what's the time at now? Okay, still ugly, but that's way better. We're gonna roll with that one. Yeah, I'll put it on there. We'll put the first one on there too, just so it's nice and fun. But that's RNG for you. Welcome to RNG. No speed, not for me. We're gonna make a video too here soon on what runes to keep and which runes to sell. I think that's another huge important part of this game for people to understand. All right, well, that's all the time we have for today, so thanks for coming by. Don't forget to like and subscribe, and until next time, okay, bye.